It's a very interesting idea that in some manner, Bitcoin is provides an incorruptible language of value, preferable to gold, say. So maybe you have to buy the argument first that gold is preferable to a currency that isn't dependent upon something like gold. You're making the case then that Bitcoin is superior even to gold.
Once you go down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, it's very, very difficult to claw your way out.
Welcome to Dream Richer. We all agree that Bitcoin is a strong investment asset to some degree. However, could it actually serve as an ethical safe haven as well? Today, Jordan Peterson participates in a discussion with some of the top minds from the Bitcoinverse. Experts suggest that people who invest in Bitcoin with a strong education are likely to set their time horizons to 5 years to more, meaning they are less likely to be affected by the price fluctuations in Bitcoin and hence begin to build a strong investment mind that can also serve them well in life. Besides setting a clear time frame, users begin to develop a habit of taking responsibility by learning to safeguard the master key to their wallet. Stories of people losing their passwords only serve to promote more responsibility within crypto holders. For example, a German-born programmer invested quite some of money in Bitcoin when it was still in its early days. The problem is that the investor years ago lost the paper, where he wrote down the password for his iron key, which gives users 10 guesses before it seizes up and encrypts its contents forever. His digital wallet holds more than 7,000 Bitcoins, sitting at a whopping value of more $220 million. If you find the video helpful, then don't forget to subscribe. Let's get right into it.
What I've noticed in people in Bitcoin is that it rapidly accelerates this change toward taking more responsibility, as it were.
Why do you think that is?
Well, there's a couple reasons. And I think the other aspect, to sum up and not take up too much time initially here is it changes people's time preference as well. It changes their relationship to time. And so the first, why I think that is it's a very peculiar thing. But I think the genesis of it is that Bitcoin allows you to own something and to allow you to exclusively own something for the first time ever. And that is the private keys to your Bitcoin. So it's an extreme form of ownership that is not represented in any other domain of life. It's an inherent property right. And so this is kind of the idea of freedom that Bitcoin seems to engender, is that when you take, complete sovereignty and control over the thing that most reflects, who you are out into the social world at the very least, and that is money. That is the emblem of your time and sacrifice, or what you gain rather, for your time and sacrifice. Once you take control over that, I think it provides a very powerful impetus to look at other areas of your life and see where you might establish greater sovereignty. And I think you could broadly say that money is information regarding your own value hierarchies that you, when you use it,
everybody
you communicate.
Else's.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you use it, you communicate those. And to the extent that there's an intermediary, or that there's anything that's distorting the fidelity of that communication, pathological hierarchies, incongruencies between what you're attempting to communicate and what you actually are communicating to that market, I think, emerge.
It's a very interesting idea that in some manner, Bitcoin is provides an incorruptible language of value, preferable to gold, say. So maybe you have to buy the argument first that gold is preferable to a currency that isn't dependent upon something like gold. And that's also a separate argument. But you're making the case then that Bitcoin is superior even to gold.
Once you go down the Bitcoin rabbit hole, it's very, very difficult to claw your way out. You're attempting to find the bottom rather than back to the surface.
Research suggests that approximately $140 billion in Bitcoin has not been claimed by owners who forgot their keys. This is corroborated by a recent report by cryptocurrency data firm Chainalysis showing that roughly 20% of the 18.6 billion Bitcoin mined in total is considered to be lost in wallets that have seen no movements in years. Even though such type of data can promote responsibility by forcing people to take more safeguarding actions in regards to their keys. However, as Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy has oftentimes debated, people who lose their passwords or choose to die with it could in fact be doing a favor to the whole Bitcoin community. Why? Well, because it increases the scarcity of the coin with the amount of usable coins in circulation, and hence its potential price.
I think you've related in the past is that money is essentially a contract with the future. And today, fiat currency, it's a violated social contract. So we have a money by which an institution effectively robs our future. They're compelling the demand for this money, and they're violating its supply to enrich themselves and dispossessing everyone else, mostly people economically vulnerable. And to the point about morality, it's like if we don't have a secure social contract in the most important market in the world, which is money, then we can't possibly have a foundation for a sound social morality. So it causes people to be more short-term thinking when your money doesn't hold value over time. You can't plan. You can't create trusting long-term relationships. I made a lot of money quickly at a young age, and I would say that I walked a bit of a darker path where I just thought that I had made it, I had arrived, I would just kind of party and cut up and travel. I had lost that deeper sense of meaning or sense of purpose that you speak so eloquently to. And you don't know it when you're up against it. I still thought that I was doing good things and was more or less a good person, but I was just going further and further off course, becoming more and more short-term oriented, more and more pursuing immediate biological gratification, whether it's, drinking or whatever. And Bitcoin and this rabbit hole just gave me the larger lens, which we talk about time preference. And when we say lowering your time preference, what we mean is we're expanding your time horizons. So you gain a greater sphere of concern, let's say, beyond yourself. And that sphere is made up of space and time. And as you do that, you start to see yourself as increasingly a more humble and infinitesimal piece of the total picture. But somehow it also enriches you to want to really dig into whatever gifts you have and give back to the whole picture. So I think by introducing Bitcoin, a money that's really hard to steal in terms of inflation or confiscation, it pushes us to be more hardworking as a society, because that is the only profitable strategy. We become entrepreneurial. Whereas if money is easy to steal, like it is under the central bank model via inflation, we slide towards kleptocracy.
It's clear from Jordan Peterson's discussion that Bitcoin is almost a rabbit hole. However, in some sense, it's a rabbit hole that helps individuals make better sense of their financial situations. This is since investing helps individuals learn to set clear goals whilst taking into account their risk appetite and preferable return on investment. All these factors, along with the realization that the monetary supply is expanding at an alarming rate, make Bitcoin superior in some sense to other assets. Over the past, Dr. Peterson has had varying thoughts on Bitcoin. In his words, the idea of a decentralized monetary system, well, that is a revolutionary idea, and the more I thought about it, it makes me wary. Do you believe decentralized money, such as Bitcoin, is the future? To learn more about the latest crypto news, watch these videos here.